So you're sitting down, guitar in hand, favourite pen in the other, your notepad's open, just next to your performance enhancing drug of choice, and you're about to write the next hit song. When in a moment of doubt you ask yourself, wait, how do you write a song? In fact, the question for most people isn't how do I write a song, but rather where do I start? You see, songwriting is by nature subjective. If you're looking for hard borders and definitive rules, well, art just isn't the realm in which we find these rules. That's what makes art so attractive to most of us. The problem with this is that to a newcomer, it can often seem like that to produce great art, you either need to have been born, gifted, or passed down the trade secrets by some great yogi. This can often look like the creative world is split into two definitive groups. The effortless geniuses, or like the most of us, the triers.
Said maybe we gotta be the... Damn it!
Unfortunately, I can't teach you how to write the next hit song, but knowing a little about song structure should be enough to get you started. So, a song's structure is like the foundations of which our musical palace is built on. Without a solid set of foundations, the rains will come down, the floods will come up, and the walls, well, you know the rest. Think of the way you structure a song like choosing the building blocks that will support the eventual characteristics of your architectural wonder. Sure, go crazy with cantilevered balconies and ornamental skylights, but with the building's foundations, it really pays to stick to the tried and tested. So let's separate these building blocks and take a look at some of the characteristics of each structural element. We'll start with one we'll hopefully all be familiar with: the verse. The verse is the warm-up act that gets us ready for the chorus headliner. It sets the scene and tone of the song and introduces us to the plotline. A song will have at least 2 verses and usually no more than 4, although Don McLean clearly didn't get this memo when he wrote American Pie. Musically, each verse should be near identical. Melodically, each verse should be near identical, meaning if you were to hum the tune, it'll sound the same each time. But lyrically, each verse is usually different and carries the main story throughout the song. If you're looking for lengths, there's no set rule, but 16 bars for verse 1 and 8 for the others is probably a good number to shoot for. Onto the headline act, the chorus. The chorus is the focal point of your song and usually says what your song is about. It's also typically where the hook sits, meaning the line or melody that gets stuck in your head while you're in the shower. Musically, the chorus is usually louder, more energetic and intense. It gets repeated throughout the song. The melody is the same each time, and the lyrics are the same each time. Again, there's no hard number on this, but 8 bars is usually a good shout. Now onto some of the lesser known structural elements. Let's have a look at the bridge. The bridge, or sometimes called the middle 8, stands aside from the verse-chorus love affair in that it is musically, melodically and lyrically totally different to anything else we would have heard so far. As the bridge throws a musical spanner into the otherwise formulaic works, the lyrics in the bridge will typically reflect departure within the story, diversion, or help usher us towards conclusion. In other words, the bridge should carry the listener from this to that. 8 bars should see you across. The pre-chorus. If the verse is the warm-up act, then I guess that makes the pre-chorus the compare that runs on stage after the set to pump the crowd up and get them totally hyped before the headline act. It's a short section that lifts the song between verse and chorus. It'll always have the same melody and often has the same lyrics. 4 bars is about right. The tag. The tag is a post-chorus sing-along. It's usually similar musically to the chorus, and often has non-worded or simple vocals that we can all wail along with, such as shake it off, you got to shake it off, shake it off. Again, 4 bars ought to do it. And lastly, intros and outros. These are usually instrumental only, although in some cases, non-worded or simple vocals like the tag are used. The intro musically sets the tone of the song, and in most cases would just be the verse with no vocals. The outro might be the verse again without vocals, essentially a louder version of the intro, or might be a conclusive version of the chorus tag. 4 bars will probably do, unless you're going for a fade out, but don't go for a fade out. So now we know what the various elements are, we need to explore how best to arrange them. And this is what we actually mean by a song structure. It's deciding what order we place the blocks in so that we can start to build up with instrumental arrangements, melodies, lyrics and harmonies. Now there are a few variations by which we can arrange these building blocks. And no one way is necessarily more correct than the other, but there are combinations that work better than others in certain circumstances, and some that are very tried and tested, and often a great place to start. The most simple of which being the verse-chorus cycle. So the verse-chorus cycle, super easy. You only really need to come up with 2 parts, the verse and the chorus. The verses are essentially the same bit of writing, just with the words changed. So melodically, you're pretty much done after about 40 seconds of music. This structure works well in folk music, where the story is king, but the key here is that the melody is memorable without risk of being boring. But if things are sounding a bit samey, try adding in a bridge, typically slotting in nicely after the second chorus in place of verse 3. This is pretty much the archetypal song structure in most popular music. If you're new to songwriting and want a structure to take straight out of the box, this is a good place to start. In fact, if you really want to cut corners but still sound like a badass, don't even bother writing lyrics, just throw in a guitar solo. Lazy, but quite effective. So as we're turning things up a notch, let's add a little pre-chorus to the cooking pot. Typically verse, pre-chorus, verse, pre-chorus, bridge, pre-chorus. It's looking more complex, but actually we're still in 3 main sections of our story. You might use this structure where you have more story to tell, or you really want to differentiate between verse and chorus and need a little section to link between the 2. Love a sing-along? Who doesn't love a whoa-whoa chorus? These are somewhat easy to write if you're aiming for that anthem, as there's usually no words, or at best might be the last line of the chorus or title of the song chanted repeatedly. But there's actually more of an art to writing these sections than the mindless wailing might suggest. As you're not relying much on story or lyrics to captivate your listener, you need to be pretty good at coming up with catchy melodies. And the intro, outro, kind of go without saying. Plus, you could always throw in that little guitar solo. So there you have it, from the simple verse-chorus cycle to the songwriting behemoth we have before us. Hopefully you can see that although some songs may seem daunting, breaking up the structure into little building blocks can help lay clear foundations from which to build beautiful music. Let me know in the comments below what structure you preferred, or if you're partial to a cheeky guitar solo. And if you got something out of this video, please gently tap that like button. Subscribe if you may, and I will see you in the next video.